What is the name of the following compound? So if we look at the molecule we're asked to name, we see that we have a substituted benzene. And so this is the first of 3 examples we're going to do in this video of naming substituted benzenes. And this is a di-substituted benzene. And for di-substituted benzenes, we have some terms that we need to know that discusses where those substituents are relative to each other. So if your substituents are adjacent to each other, meaning there are 1, 2 on that benzene ring, this is known as ortho. If they are 1, 3, this is known as meta. And if they are 1, 4 to each other on the ring, this is known as para. And so another thing that we want to look at here is, besides relationship, is also if we have a common name that incorporates one of these substituents, and we do see that we have a methoxy, and we should hopefully know that the common name for methoxybenzene, this is one of the common names we need to memorize, is anisole. And so we can name this as a substituted anisole, which means we're going to put the carbon number 1 at where that methoxy group is attached, and then we're going to go around the ring to give that bromine substituent the lowest possible number. So we could call this 3-bromo anisole. Or if we wanted to use these relationships, we would see this is 1, 3 to each other, so this one is meta. So we could also call this meta-bromo anisole, which is option D. And so let's move on and look at some examples where we have tri-substituted rings. So here in this tri-substituted ring, now we're going to have to use numbers. We can only use ortho, meta, and para for di-substituted substituents. But here we see that we have 2 groups that could potentially be part of that common name. So if we were naming it with that methoxy group, it would be an anisole. If we were naming it as a substituted molecule from that alcohol, we would call it phenol. So we need to look at our priorities. Alcohols are higher priority than ethers in terms of naming. So that means we are going to name this as the substituted alcohol. So we need to remember that when we have a benzene ring that has an alcohol as a substituent, that this is a phenol. So we will be naming this as a substituted phenol. So that means we're going to put the number 1 where the alcohol is, and then we're going to number around the ring to give the lowest numbers to these substituents. So we will see that we have 3-bromo, 4-methoxyphenol. And so that is A. And so we're going to look at one more example in this video of naming a tri-substituted benzene. And so like the last example, we have 2 groups on this benzene ring that could potentially be part of the parent chain. We have an alcohol and we have a carboxylic acid. And the carboxylic acid is going to have higher priority. So we are going to name this as a substituted benzoic acid, because a benzene ring that has a carboxylic acid, the common name for this is benzoic acid. And so we will put the number 1 at where that benzoic acid is attached, and then we're going to number to give the lowest number to the substituent. So we're going to go this way so that we hit this chlorine substituent at carbon 4 and then the hydroxy at carbon 5. So this is 3-chloro-4-hydroxy benzoic acid.